same type of a daily inspection. This one is a little different from the other one we just did because first of all, we have different type bearings on the trucks. It'll be the same deal. You want to just walk and make sure there's no obvious damage anywhere, wheels. But I'll give you an idea on the friction bearings here. I'll open up all these doors, but we'll open this one just for the particular look. See in here, this takes what they used before they had roller bearings. And if you look in the top here, you've got the wedge at the very top. Below it is the actual babbitt or bearing. Below that's the axle. This piece here keeps longitudinal forces from going, crazy when the wheels have to move side to side a little bit. Basically, this rides on a micro thin film of oil. The wick down here picks up oil as it turns. It'll pull the oil up into the wedge. Literally rides on a surface oil, and they work well enough that if you bump this thing and it would just keep on rolling, you wouldn't even hear a squeal. Yeah. However, if there is no oil on these at all, you burn that bearing up, this locomotive moving its own length. This has probably got 25 or 30,000 pounds at least on each one of these little thin, it's probably maybe yay wide that it actually rides on and holds all the weight. So what we need to do is you want to verify there's standing oil in the box. If it's a little low, a little high, it's not real critical for what we do out here, but you want to always have visible oil. If it's been raining, it's a good idea to find a stick or something and you can give it a stir and make sure there's no water in it. Because you'll know right away if there's water in the oil. And we want to do this to each and every box. The other thing, when you close the box, make certain your hands are up here. Everything that's going to do to your fingers. Okay, you can also use your foot if you need, but just make sure your hands are in the clear when you close those, because they will snap shut right now.
You won't have fingers. And
then you'll be, be lefty for the rest of your life. So we want to check all 8 of these. Again, standing oil. Here's the stick. Just give the oil a stir real quick to make sure there's no water in it. You'll know because it'll get a filmy kind of look to it. Something's not right with this. So, and of course, close it up. And let's do the front truck here. Oh, actually, yeah, do the front one, then we'll go around the other side and take care of those. Make sure there's oil there. Use journal oil.
There's oil.
Okay.
Not a lot of it, but there's oil.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, go ahead and close the lid. Watch your fingers. Don't wrap your fingers around it. Okay, check the last one. The fact that we have no MU hoses on this particular locomotive or this one, meaning they're independent of each other. You can couple them up and use one as a freight car basically, but you can't MU them together and control them like the others. So that's one major difference with these. Okay, now we'll go up on the deck here and I'll show you where the Bibles are. Okay, here's our air compressor for the 1006. Oil check is relatively easy. It's right there in the front. And that's the only thing you got to worry about in this cabinet. And go to the next door down. There's no real fluid checks in that one, but I'll show you some interesting things. So we'll go ahead and close these doors up. Okay, here's where the governor is in this locomotive. The sight glass is in the back there, a standard governor. Sometimes it's a little easier to see on the other side, but we'll open that door later when we get there. This change right here is the main oil filter for the diesel engine. And this is a load regulator, which is slightly bigger than the one on the other locomotive. We also have 2 fuel gauges on here, and they are before and after the filters. It'll help give us an indication of a plugged filter down the road. That's not a stock thing. I believe they put that in intentionally. And that's all it is on this side as far as what you need to look at. Just make sure there's no oil leaks, major anywhere on any of this stuff, and you're good to go. That tank.
Action.
When we first started this locomotive, the very first time, I was standing on this side, and there's a video of the startup, and it's from the other side of the locomotive, and get it up and running, and you can watch Dave come down the ladder, and then right then it shut off because I was over here, and when this tank filled up with oil, which the filters are, we had a squirt come out of there. It was like arterial blood loss. Maybe here to that, 30 feet away, it was squirting, and immediately shut the thing down. So we had a few little teething problems when we first got it running.
How was that shower?
I didn't shoot at me. It was just off to the side, but it was one of those kind of things where you can't turn it off fast enough.
Yeah.
So,
Did it get on any other unit? Or is
oh,
it
I just made a mess, but we got it fixed out. Carl took care of that. So, okay, that's all for this one. Okay, we'll get this one flipped open. Cameraman off the wall. Okay, in here is where we actually add the oil to it. This tank here is your oil sump tank. Basically, this is like a radiator overflow tank, but we keep oil. This is a dry sump engine. There's no oil pan per se on this particular block. It just pulls oil out of this tank and recirculates it through the engine. There's a dipstick. Okay, it's there. It's not necessarily the most reliable thing because of the way this is designed, but this little lid here will come off. And there's a screen in here. And this is where you actually add the oil to the locomotive when you need to add oil to it. And it might be hard to see, but there's a little pipe right here about an inch or two down from the top. And when this is running, in a perfect world, you'd have enough oil that about half of that diameter of that pipe is covered with oil. And it recirculates down. For what we do here, that is not necessarily mission critical. But this is where you would add oil to it and where you would also check it. And I think this one holds, I want to say about 80 gallons altogether, because there's hardly any in the engine compared to, you know, the tank. It's a dry sump, is how this thing is. But it's got a massive scavenging pump on it, so it'll pump this stuff through quicker than you know what. Anyway, another little feature, the airbox drains. This one valve right here. Periodically after you run it, you want to drain the air boxes. That's pressurized air going into the cylinders for combustion. Oil gets in there through various ways, and every so often you shut the thing down and you open those valves, you put a bucket underneath it. You might get a gallon, you might get a pint. You know, they're all different. So, but it's just something that needs to be taken care of, because if you get too much oil in there, now it can start sucking that oil into the thing, and there's no way you're going to shut this off. It's going to run away. Turn the fuel off, you can do anything you want, it's still going to go because it's burning all that oil in there. And when that happens, you better be in the next county, because this thing will just blow itself to the moon. So fortunately, we have not had that issue, but again, it's just one thing on the EMD 2-strokes you got to think about. This one, the 98-108, that has an internal setup. You don't have to do any of that to it. The 942 does have external valves. When it comes turn for that one, we'll show you where those are. But anyway, that's where that goes. It's got a little thingy here that fits under a ring up here. I can see it. There we go. Let's get that like so. Here's your water level. Basically the same kind of sight glass. You want to look for the pink color for the additive concentrate we have in it. And again, that's about it for this particular locomotive. There's not a lot to check on it fluid-wise, but you just want to make sure that you have the stuff, obviously. So, and that concludes the basic check on the 1006.
Please support us and share.